This conference will now be recorded.
All right, as always, everything that we're going to be going over today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So today is Tuesday, December 18th, and overnight, things pretty much did exactly what they had to. So let's start off with Apple. So Apple has absolutely huge selling that came in at that 165 level. We are completely overdue for a pull-up, and overnight we got a really nice move. I mean, we're talking about it jumping up, a little bit over $1. Based off of what we saw in those sell prints at that 165. Now, it is most certainly has not moved as much as we would expect it to. So there's still a whole bunch more room for this thing to continue back up, just based off that gigantic selling that we had coming into there. So once the market opens, there's not really much going on in it whatsoever. I mean, there's a few good things out there, but there's not a ton of volume. And once again, we're in a holiday week, and it's to be expected, but we still have a lot more room to that upside based off the story that we have. Remember, yesterday we had over 4 million shares that came in right as the market closed, sitting right here at that 163.94. And, once again, that 165, I mean, just absolutely gigantic selling. So we're starting to come back down towards that level, but once again, a lot more room towards that upside. Next one, J&J. So overall, based off the market maker coming in, we know that there's a huge amount of selling at that 128.50, but we had that buying that came in at the 130 level on top of the fact at that 130.50, 130, and then also 130.50. So we know that we had to come back up, and we just got that move coming into this morning. I mean, that was just an absolutely beautiful trigger based off the buying that we had there. Now, 133, we do see that a bunch, not a bunch, but a little bit more buying coming into that level. So based off that pullback from there, we have a 2.1 million share print line that's sitting there at 133 that we're going to be expecting this to continue back up based off of the short-term prints that we see coming in, especially based off the fact that the orders are extremely light. This is most certainly a show of hand. Now, we did get some selling that came in afterwards, so the amount and how much longer it has to move isn't really that much. But overall, the range in this thing is great. I know it's on average it's 260, but based off of what we've had the past few days, based off the volume that we've been seeing coming into it, and we're already at 600,000 shares, where that range is definitely going to be beat as long as this thing still stays hot and people are still focusing on it. So we should expect a lot more than that. And then we have RCII, which decent looking trade that came into this morning. I mean, it was, don't get me wrong, on the way back, way down, we certainly were getting below. I mean, the volume is just great. We have 8.7 million shares already. On average, you can see it usually trades about 616,000. So the one thing that we did see is coming into this 12 level, 12, there was a huge amount of covering that came in on its way back down to 12 on top of at that 12 level. So they don't expect a ton more for this thing to be able to go down. But overall, we still really didn't pull back as much as you would expect from that 12 level. 10 cents is just not going to be enough. So we're starting to get that move towards that upside, but we still have a little bit more room down before we could really expect this thing to start pulling back up. Now, the selling that was coming into it at 12 as well. So we do have new selling, but we do have a lot of covering. So you want to keep that in mind. But overall, there's certainly has that new selling coming down towards that level. Now, from 14.45 all the way down to 12, a really substantial move for such a cheap stock. So this is another one that we're going to be looking for. After this to start pulling up a little bit there, that new selling, we really should see more. There's more money to be made as we continue. And then the rest of our list, it's kind of odd because there's a lot of stocks that have some big volume out there, but aren't really doing much. So we have MRIN, 101,000 shares, but you can see, I mean, there's just not really much going on there at all. Now, the one weird thing about it is it usually trades 22,000 shares throughout the course of an entire day, and we already have that 101,000. So, I mean, we're talking about basically about over 5 times the amount that it usually trades. But there's just not really much that's going on there. We have AETI, 681,000 shares, but another one where it's just not, great volume overall, but there's just not really doing anything at all. TLK, 145,000 shares, but it's all based off of one bigger print. Now, TLRY, we still need, unfortunately, to pull up above that 80 level. We can see it made an absolutely phenomenal move. Now, all the pot stocks did this morning. So if we look at TLRY, we look at CGC, or we look at CRON, you can see all the charts look exactly the same. So it had something to do based off the industry, not just the stock TLR moved on news. Well, that's usually one of the catalysts that you see a stock move on is based off of news. But overall, certainly going to be watching the pot stocks coming into this morning. They didn't really continue as much as I would have liked to see, and I really get too many prints that I really like that much. One thing about Kron though is that we know that there is a really huge position of somebody that's sitting there and bought at that 12 level. So that's something we certainly want to look at. And then if you look at TLRY, I mean, there's just there wasn't really any great buying that came into that really showed us that we were going to be able to continue on there. Let us now consider it a form of cannabis. As if that's what I have no idea. I'm not going to even look at the news. I'm just going to be looking for the prints that come back in there, but certainly want to focus on them. But there's nothing really there, print wise, that really got me too excited. I mean, the volume you could see on CGC wasn't really that good. It made a great move on absolutely nothing. TLR-wise, same type of deal, and then CRLN, especially with the cheaper of all of them, you could see there's just not really much there at all. I mean, the highest volume bar being under 25,000, just not much, but certainly something that that we'll look at once the market opens. So we have UXIN, which 133,000 shares. I was looking at, and I liked it as it was moving, but the volume just never really got up there. And if we look on the bigger print side of things, I mean, there was really not much of anything but buying, but I really would have liked to see a little bit more come in at that 9 level. And unfortunately we didn't. We still have some new buying there, but there's just not as much that would make me comfortable that shows that this thing has to continue to go. And we also have those prints that came in after that 850 on the ask, 850 on that bid side of things. It still looks like it needs to pull up, and I'm just not happy with that new buying, but I'm certainly going to put this on the list. 137,000 shares, and the volume's been just continuing up over the past week or so. So certainly something to keep an eye on, but it's definitely towards the bottom of my list. We have ORCL, 101,000 shares, nothing going on there. And SBGL, 246,000 shares, but absolutely nothing for us to really go on. Next one coming up on the loser side, we have RCII, which we've already spoken about, and then the rest are ETFs. Did NBEV satisfy? Let's take a look. All right, so NBEV, remember 650, we have a huge amount of buying that came back in, and for a cheaper stock, I'm okay with it only moving down 25 cents. Now, there was a huge amount, and it did hit 650 a whole bunch of times, but these cheaper stocks, they're not going to give us, the range is 92 cents, which it's not going to give us a gigantic pullback. We're not going to see something like this pull back $2-3 like we would expect in something like Apple. So I'm okay with it, absolutely. But I really would like to see a little bit more coming into this morning. I'm for sure we know that somebody has to make their money off that 650 level, but just coming up to that 7, I would have liked to see a little bit more buying. Does it need to NVDA, does it still up or hit 148? So NVDA, everything out there needs a pull up. And the reason that we're looking, yes, it certainly does, because a lot of these stocks are pretty much following the market. And remember, I use Apple as my indicator, but it hit 145 so many times. I was not happy with the pull of, the entire pull up. Now, don't get me wrong, it would have been plenty. There's something, that showed that we would have looked for a little bit more, and based off everything needing to pull up, yesterday we saw so much selling. So the perfect case scenario, if I think about, the market makers as of what I would do right now, everyone out there has to have that, that thought in the back of their mind, or most people do, that we're going to end up seeing this market come back, and we're going to end up seeing, it go back up, and things aren't going to really tank. Every time stocks start continuing down, and the market starts continuing down, people think, okay, well, that's the perfect time to buy because it's obvious. So perfect thing for a market maker to do right now would be to start running this market up a little bit and give people that false hope, get people to start coming back in because they think everything's at a discount before that selling that we saw yesterday comes in and gets satisfied. So overall, that's what I'm going to be looking for, because I know personally, if I had $1 billion, that's exactly what I would be doing. So that that's what I'm looking for overall. But just keep in mind, guys, yesterday the market, the amount of selling that we see going into this, into these things, especially a stock like Apple, especially a stock like NVDA, we have more room down. There's no question about it whatsoever. But like I said, that if personally was me controlling the market out there, that's exactly what I'd be looking to do. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. All right, guys. So anything else out there that I missed? All right, beautiful. So remember, Traders Exchange at 12:30, and let's get ready for the open. Happy trading.